For today's video, I'm going to be doing my mid-month wrap-up for the month of July. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Jenny. This is Jenny Reads Maybe, where maybe I read or maybe I don't. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my mid-month wrap-up for the month of July. I am filming this a little bit late. I'm filming it on the 19th. I got back from vacation on the 17th and just didn't have the energy to do much of anything. But for this video's purposes, I'm going to count the middle of the month as the 16th just because this month has 31 days and that kind of puts it at a weird place. But the 16th kind of felt right for me calendar-wise. But I read 13 books in the first half of the month of July and I enjoyed most of them. So I'll kind of start, we'll get right into it. The first one I read was actually an audio arc of Filthy Jealous Heir Part 1, or it might not have been an arc, but it was something that was sent to me by Forever and Always PR company. And Filthy Jealous Heir was the first book in the Heirs of Valhalla series, and it's the first book in the duet of the two main characters, and I believe their names are Olivia and, oh my gosh, what was his name? Olivia and Reese, and I'm looking it up on my laptop. And so I read actually both of the books in this duet of the series back to back, and so I'll kind of review both of them. I gave both of them 4 stars. I did enjoy my time. They are like dark romance, high school bully romances, which don't tend to be my favorites, but I did enjoy reading them. And I did enjoy like the development of their relationship and kind of what transpired. I did read last month, my last book was the prequel of this, kind of setting up their relationship, and I enjoyed that more, but that, I think it was like a really short novella and it kind of tied up things in a little bow to kind of set up the series. But overall, I did enjoy my time reading them. They are, it's like a hate to love, very much hate, and I would say enemies, but maybe not quite. They are new step siblings, which tends to be something I don't read as much just because it's a little awkward for me. But it was a good series and I had a good time. I recommend if you're kind of looking for more bully romances. But yeah, they were fun. Next, I read Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate, which I gave 5 stars. This is a book I have been anxiously awaiting getting to since I started my Sarah Kate journey and started the Salacious Players Club series back in a couple months ago, my time. And I really enjoyed this. This is the Silver Fox 35-year age gap, and I think it just served. It served like the angst and the tension and just kind of everything. I loved that the main player, oh my gosh, what's his, I forget everybody's names. Ronan Cade. I love that Ronan Cade was just like a man who was hurt, a man who had gone through pain, a man who like wanted love but didn't know how to seek it out. And I loved just like his character. I loved how we got to see Madame Kink come into it a little bit and like their friendship, and I really enjoyed their relationship overall. I'm glad I'm caught up in the series now. I can't wait for Madame, and I just really enjoy this series, and this one definitely explored daddy kink, so if you're into that, pick this one up. Next, I picked up Back in the Country by Alexandra Hale. I gave this one 4 stars. I am reading through this series in preparation for the newest book to release, and I was sent an ebook copy of this from the author agency on Instagram, and I had a fun time reading this. It is an older brother's best friend romance, big, not like big age gap, but I think there's like a 10-year age gap, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun, it was sweet. It's a small town romance, which I love a good small town romance, and there was definitely angst and tension, and arguably it was a second chance romance because it wasn't the first time they had had feelings and like emotional involvement with each other. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I definitely recommend the series. I finished up the second one today. And yeah, so it's fun, a good little small town series, a small town moment if you're into that. Then I read Transcendental by Persephone Autumn, which was an audio I was sent from Forever and Always PR again. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was the perfect amount of angst, tension, emotion, chemistry, just like everything kind of came together for me. And it follows, he is a musician who has lost kind of his inspiration and his streak in like songwriting, and so he is sent to a like mountain hiking kind of retreat, and he meets the main female character there, and she is going through it. Her husband recently died and she's just so struck by grief, and they're both here, and in the week that they're there they fall in love with each other, but she is not ready to be in love. And so she goes back to her hometown, and eventually they meet up again because he is doing concerts in the area, hoping that he can run into her, and they fall in love again. And it was so sweet and moving, and the author did such a phenomenal job at like writing the grief process and like how the female main character was kind of going through it and everything that was happening. And I just loved it. I loved the writing, I loved the audiobook. It was just stunning, and I definitely recommend this if you're into more like emotional angsty romances. Then I picked up Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, which is her newest release, and I gave it 5 stars. I have given everything Ali Hazelwood has written 5 stars. I love her writing style. I love her characters. I love how they come together and how the male characters in her stories just really care about the women that they're with, and they will do whatever it takes to make sure that these women know that they're worthy of love. And this follows rival physicists, and it's Elsie and Jack. And they were just the epitome of like love, despite like maybe having differing opinions. I loved that Jack was just like an angsty boy, like he had gone through it in his life, and Elsie was so fun to read about. I loved the I believe it's diabetes rep in this, and yeah, I just think it was super fun. Loved it, 5 stars. I can't wait for more from Ali Hazelwood. Then I read Lost Love Found by Christina Santos, and I gave this one 4 stars. This was another book that I was sent from the author agency, and it was an arc for the book, and so I read it before release, and I really enjoyed it. It was super sweet. It's like there's so many tropes in this one, but the way they come together was so good. It's like friends to lovers, celebrity romance, fake dating, like all of these little tropes come together, and it's so sweet and swoon worthy. This is a man who's just like a soft boy. Adam is just so sweet and caring, and when they came together it was so magical, and I just loved their story. And I can't wait for more in this series. There's more to come, and the second book I'm really anticipating because it is one of her best friends, and the hopefully third one will be about 2 people who hate each other. So I'm really looking forward to this. This was her debut and she did phenomenal. Can't wait to read more from her. Then one of my most anticipated releases of the year I got as an arc, and that is The Antihero by Sarah Kate. Now let me tell y'all, I love this. When I got like notification that I was getting sent this arc from the author agency, I was so happy. Like I freaked out, I screamed, because this seriously has been building up in my head that I'm just gonna love it. And it follows another Adam, and he is a well-known, renowned preacher's son. Only he finds his dad in a sex club and then wants to get revenge on his dad because his dad has been a horrible person his whole life and has been just basically lying about who he is. And I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I loved the emotions. I loved the exploration of like religion and faith tied in with like kink, and the fact that oftentimes kink and sex are just looked down on by the church, even though like they don't make you less than anybody else. And so I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars again. I can't wait to continue in this series as they come out. This is a favorite of the year, and I want to listen to the audio even though I just read this, because I know that I believe Jacob Morgan is the narrator, and his voice is just gonna get me through this again. Then I picked up Barbarian's Heart, the audiobook on Hoopla, and I gave this one 4 stars. I liked the kind of tension in this book. It was following, I totally forget, but one of the earliest women on the planet and her mate, who during the events of the novella before this, things happen and it's an amnesia romance. And it was just really good. It was sweet. It was swoon worthy. I loved just like how their relationship developed and how things happened. So it was a really sweet read. I don't really want to reveal too much about the background because it might spoil things in the series and as they're developing, but 4 stars. It was a fun Ruby Dixon read. Then I read Radiant Sin by Katie Robert, and I gave this one 3 stars. It's not my favorite in the series. I enjoyed it, but I wish there was more, and I'm still excited to see what's coming next in the series. It just wasn't my favorite, but 3 stars. It was good, and it follows, oh my gosh, I never remember their names. It follows, let me pull this up. They're Greek gods, or like the names. Okay, so it's Apollo and Cassandra, and it's a workplace romance while also like being a like week-long party romance. And there was a lot happening, and I definitely felt like it was a book that was setting things up for the future, less than it was exactly in the moment. So that's my thoughts on that one. Then I picked up Reckless Desire by Maxine Henry, and this was another arc that was sent my way by the author agency. As you can tell, this was a month of arcs. And I gave this one 4 stars. It follows, oh my gosh, I just wrote my review for this one. It follows, he is a former male escort and she is his daughter's teacher. And this is not the first time they met. They did meet when he was an escort, and he was hired by her sister to take her out on the town and have a good night. It was good. I just loved their development of their relationship. The first time they met, it was definitely like right person, wrong time. And I really enjoyed that element. And then when they came back together 5 years later, it was heartwarming to see how they could come back together and how they can deal with their problems. She had a lot of trust issues after like the previous men in her life had kind of hurt her, and he is a new billionaire and just wants to do everything he can to take care of her. And I love them so much. It was so sweet, and I can't wait to read like future books in the series. I want to go back and read the first one because they are standalones and I didn't read the first one, but it was good. 4 stars. Definitely recommend this series. It was sweet. Then I read the audio of Barbarian's Hope by Ruby Dixon, which follows, oh my gosh, what are their names? She is the one alien on the planet, not Farley. I'm so awful with names in this series. All I can think about is Tiffany and Salute, but it's not them. But they previously had resonated to each other and got pregnant and lost the baby. And they had a lot of pain and grief, and they separated from each other. But in this book, they come together for a like second chance romance and a second resonance. And I really like this. I thought it was really sweet. I have been anticipating this one for a long time, since I found out what it was about, and it didn't disappoint. It was super sweet. I'm glad I read it. I almost wish it was longer because I wanted to see more of them. And there was a third character that had point of view in here that I understood why it was there, but I wanted more about them. So it was 4 stars. It was really good. Then I read Long Hard Ride by Lorelei James. And so this is on my TBR for this month, and it is the first in her Rough Riders series. I read her Blacktop Cowboy series last year and loved it. Everything in that series I gave 5 stars. This one I gave 4.5 stars just because there were some elements that weren't my favorite. It was not, Lorelei James does this thing with her first books where they are set up as like a threesome or group activities, but then the girl picks one person. And as much as I understand it plot wise, I would just prefer they didn't do that. Also, I like when things are MMF, not MFM. But overall, it was good. It was a 4.5 star read. I had a really fun time with it. This is hot. This is steamy. This is a cowboy romance. And yeah, I just definitely, I would recommend it, but go into it like cautiously if you're exploring MFM romances, but you want more MMF. But overall, it was good. I had a fun time reading it. I can't wait to continue in the series. And those are the 13 books that I read in the first half of the month of July. Stay tuned for my end of month wrap up. I'm going to have a bunch more arcs that I'm reading and just a lot of fun stuff that's coming up. So that was it for me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. You can comment one of your favorite reads of the month so far down below. And if you can't think of anything to comment, you can leave like the little cowboy emoji with the hat, just for cowboy season and small town season. So that was it from me. I will see you guys later. Bye.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.